this episode that we're doing is, featuring women in brewing and telling the stories of women in brewing. But the long and the short of it is, big deal, right? I mean, this is not new that both genders are excellent at brewing, right? Isn't that new?
There's nothing new about the fact that you're right, whether you have, what you have downstairs has nothing to do with your ability to brew beer.
Right.
But I mean, the fact of the matter is that it's still a very male-dominated industry nowadays. So historically speaking, yeah, women were, the original brewers, but it's still very much a male-dominated industry. There's still plenty of gains to be made. There's still, differences in how women are paid. There's differences in how women are treated. So I think that there's still a lot to be said for why Pink Boots is important, because it helps women who maybe aren't necessarily professionals yet become inspired to join the industry by seeing other people who they respect doing that. And it also gives women in the industry sort of a network, of support. But every year I talk about the Pink Boots stuff with people, and I totally get where you're coming from, because you're right. It shouldn't matter what the gender of the brewer is. It has no impact on the flavor of the beer, right?
Right.
But there is something to be said about diversity in craft brewing and how that brings, that helps prevent homogeneity and helps promote innovation, because you're bringing in different people's viewpoints. So I think there's definitely value to, whether it's women or it's people of color or, LGBTQ, just sort of promoting the diversity of ideas, that being inclusive helps the industry grow, in that way.
Just bringing different experiences, like we're talking about different worldviews and different perspectives. All of that translates into just making better beer.
Yeah, overall, yeah, I think that it only helps enrich the industry. It helps us be, the more different viewpoints you have, different palates you have, things like that, the different, think of different ingredients that people of different backgrounds have been exposed to, like how that just sort of spurs innovation and lets us do like even bigger and cooler things. I mean, how could that ever be a bad thing, right? Like,
Emily, it's been terrific talking to you. Keep up the good work, both with the delicious beer you're making and making sure that brew pubs and the smaller breweries across the state of Illinois have a fighting chance going forward. I really appreciate your time. Thanks.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And cheers.
This show, we're highlighting women. We're highlighting the achievements of women and their contributions to brewing. And women have been brewing beer for 4,000 years, so that's nothing new. But in terms of where women are making accomplishments and making gains in the world of craft beer, right? If you go to a tap room, you're going to find that half the people there are women and half the people are men. When you get behind the scenes, it's not always that way. It's not nearly a 50-50 split. We've got a long way to go. But in terms of what you guys are getting done there at Octopi, it's certainly a lot closer to being equitable. I read that you guys, like a third of your brew house, the people that work there are women?
Yeah. Yep.
Is that just by happenstance, or is that something that they've really committed to doing? Did it just luck out that way?
I mean, from what I know, I've only been working here for a few months, but from what I've understood, I think diversity is one of the things that Octopi aims for. So whether that be in ethnicity or women and men being mixed together, I think that's just something that they aim to make a big change about.
I wonder if it's easier doing what you do in Wisconsin, where beer is just so much a part of your culture up there. If maybe I assume that it's probably tougher in places that aren't Wisconsin, or am I way off?
I mean, I think compared to, at least I have one experience, compared to St. Louis, I think I knew one woman who was in the brewery that wasn't in packaging, that wasn't in the tap room, that was brewing. In that whole area, and there's tens of breweries in that area, and I moved up here, and I think I know at least, outside of Octopi, at least 3 other female head brewers. So I'm not sure if it's Wisconsin or if it's just this area happens to have just a higher amount of women in the brewing industry.
And pretty early on, when I was at Octopi, we had a Pink Boots Brew Day at the brewery. And I was still a packager then, but like you just saw like a whole bunch of women all from within the great Madison and Milwaukee area coming into the tap room that are all, associated with brewing. And I mean, having that kind of community there and seeing all that is encouraging as well. And they do outreach and scholarships, and they really try to promote like females in the brewing industry. So I think that kind of was encouraging.
Do either of you feel any pressure, or maybe the word I should use is duty? Like, do you feel a responsibility to encourage more women to take active roles in brewing?
I think a lot of women in the industry have that drive themselves, honestly. I feel like every woman that I've met that has any interest in being, cellar person or brewer or anything like that already has that drive. And like Natalea said, that interest, once you get that interest and you start learning things, I think a lot of times it just kind of happens itself. But like she said as well, Pink Boots, something like that, if you're a part of it, is a huge encouragement to move forward.
Also, I don't know if you know this, but women, in fact, have a better sense of taste and smell. So I feel like it's probably good to keep us around in the brewing industry. I don't know, just something to consider.
That's terrific. Well, I can't thank you enough for your time and the courtesy you've extended my director and my producer there. Thanks so much for your time. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait to get up there and try some of the Octopi beer. Thanks so much.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.